Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our live webinar of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa Vargas. On behalf of Cerenade, I want to thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about the administrator portal, the settings and customizations. I always recommend, especially when you're new, that you take advantage of the customizations. That's when you really maximize the investment because then you make the system your own. We're going to talk about those customizations and settings that we suggest. This is being recorded. We always record our webinars and we keep them in our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, we recommend you do. Just go to YouTube, search for Cerenade Academy, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to watch these videos. We also have a PowerPoint presentation that you can download if you are watching this video and later, after today, and you want the copy, just contact us and we can email it to you. Actually, I sent one today to someone who needed the client portal PowerPoint. Anyway, so we also have a chat. If you send me questions, I am a real person. I can answer your questions. That's the idea of being here today, so that I can help you as much as I can. Okay, so like I said, today's topic is the administrator portal settings and customizations. We're going to talk about what the admin is and what not everyone has access to the administrator portal, but if you are, again, a new user, I highly recommend that if you are here, you contact the admin, let them know, hey, we're missing out. There's a lot of things that we're probably not using because they haven't been customized or tweaked. So we're going to show you how to create, for example, letter templates or custom fields, how to create a questionnaire, how to use the form defaults. Anyway, so you can ask me questions, and don't forget to download this PowerPoint presentation so you guys can share with your team along with the link. Happy Friday, welcome. Happy to see you here. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to switch to not that one, this one. Okay, when you log in into the system, it's usually the caseworker portal. And then on the right-hand side, on the top where it says settings, you can see administrative tools. If you don't see administrative tools, it's because you don't have access, okay? So you need to contact whoever's the admin. Now, I recommend that you right-click, open in a new tab, and especially if you're new, again, it's really hard to customize everything at once. Of course, I don't even recommend it because it's overwhelming and we don't want you to stress about it. But I do recommend that as you start using the system, you'll find out like, okay, well, we don't have this template or we don't have this drop-down menu or whatever is it that you want to change is most likely need to be done here in the administrative portal. A few settings we do have over here under the caseworker portal for each caseworker. If you guys go to user preferences, you'll see them on the right hand side, such as, your client overview or tickler. Each user can customize some of the settings. But in general, I think, again, most of these settings and customizations in the admin, if you don't really take advantage of them, you're missing out. All right. So let's start by explaining what is this and how do I use this. So the administrative portal is just for customizations. You really, as an admin, don't have access to create a case, look at you have to switch to the caseworker module, and that's why I like to have both of them open side by side, so I can work on the system at the same time. I can just switch back, customize something in the admin, and then switch back and continue working normally, or obviously refresh to see the settings that you updated. Now, let's start with the departments. Even if you're a solo practitioner, just think long term. If you need to split cases by different locations, you will be able to create as many departments as needed. We also have clients that are forms prepare or paralegals that work for multiple attorneys, and obviously they have multiple departments based on the name of the law firm that they're working for as independent contractors. So it's super helpful to have the information for the law firm, and the information will transfer to the forms, and you can run reports. How many cases did I work for this law firm versus this one? So that's another benefit of creating multiple departments, and you can store clients and cases based on department or branch. Okay. Next, you have obviously your users. If it's just one license, then that means that only one person can log in at a time. You can obviously take turns, but be careful with that, just because the person who's sharing your credentials can kick you out and then you lose your data. So just be careful. You can always contact us if you need another license. You can add a caseworker. Of course, let's say that we have a manager who's going to help us with reports, or just, in general, like the office manager. But I don't want to give the office manager access to all my law firm branches or departments. I can limit the access by department right here. So whatever I check, that means that they can access. And then, of course, enter the information for the manager. And here's where you need to select, do I want every client to be assigned to this manager or not? If you don't do it like this, then that means that you have to do it manually. Okay. And what I mean is, let me quickly show you. I'm going to do this back and forth thing just so I can show you not only how to customize, but why. Where's the application? What am I doing this for? So I'm going to use an example. Ernesto Ramos, this client, I can click on caseworkers, and I can link the caseworker. Let's say Araceli is going to be assisting Ernesto Ramos, and I want Ernesto to be able to email or message Araceli, or if Ernesto uploads a document, I want the attorney to also be aware and receive an email notification. Well, if you don't want to do that manually, what you can do is just select these boxes. Now, if it's the attorney, you want to also assign to cases automatically and have the attorney's information automatically transferring to the forms as well. Okay? Especially if you're a solo practitioner, check all 5 boxes. Your jurisdiction details, of course, you want this to transfer to the forms, and leave this blank if you don't want to, if you want to use a different mailing address, or you can copy from a different department, uh, instead of typing it. Now, if you don't have a license, meaning you can only use unlimited account of users, or seats, I guess people call it like that, seats. Don't click on create account. You're going to get an error message that says that you have exceeded the number of users or licenses. So if you do want this case manager to access the system, of course, then again, you need to pay for their license, and then you're going to be able to create the account. Of course, give them a username and password. If you don't have, for example, let's say this is for my attorney, he's not going to use the system, but I still want his data to transfer to the forms, just create the profile without creating the account and click save. Now you can choose the attorney's information and transfer that on a case-by-case basis, right? Um, but again, if you have created the account, contact us. We enable the license for you. We just charge you for the prorate amount. And of course, need to give that username and password to the attorney or office manager. And this is where you as the admin determine, well, the office manager can only use it Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Like, you can limit the access. Let's say this is an intern who's only going to use the system for the summer, so I can customize it so that after, let's say, September, she doesn't have access to the system anymore. Things like that. And of course, the access rights, am I going to enable this user to be the admin as well? Keep in mind, each license has the power to be an admin as well, so you either allow or block the access. Now, this is very important too. Do I want this person to access all cases, or just the ones that I assign them to, or no case access at all? So again, it's really up to you. Please explore this section for the access rights so you understand, well, what happens if I don't check this? Is this, case manager or attorney going to be able to update the status of a case from active to closed? Or so anyways, it's important that you are familiar with this, especially if you're the admin, because for example, today someone called me and said, I want to switch my module for text messaging to e-filing. And I said, yeah, great. As a courtesy, we can allow you to do that. But keep in mind that e-filing by default says none. So you have to log in, go to users, go to the access rights and enable the access so that your staff can file forms electronically on all cases, or again, the cases that you assign them to. All right, so you have the power to allow or block some of these features. So make sure that you explore that, and that's under the users. Let me know if you have any questions as we, um, let me see, who has access to the admin? Um, you all should have, but maybe you don't even know what the admin portal is. Okay, so we're just waiting for the participants to vote on this poll in progress. We have a poll in progress, so you can just click to vote. All right, so the majority of you have access, some of you don't. Now you know how to contact, whoever. The thing is, sometimes the person who's the signatory, right, contact us and they sign up, but they're not the user. And now you're using e-immigration and you had no access because, again, they have to enable the access for you. All right, but I'm glad that you're here so that you learn what's the benefit of customizing e-immigration. Next, I think that this is kind of like the main area um, of the admin, in my opinion, just because if you customize this section, you're going to save a lot of time and, like I said, maximize the investment. For example, let's say that you are a nonprofit organization and you don't really do H-1Bs, or the opposite. You are a law firm that handles just employment-based cases and you don't do asylum cases or TPS or so. The benefit of customizing this list is that you're going to leave exactly what you need. And let me show you. Let me switch to the other portal. If I create a case for Ernesto Ramos and say, what process does he need? Some of you are probably wasting a lot of time scrolling down to search what you need, whereas you can just, customize this drop-down menu and click and go. Okay, I am going to show you how to disable the ones you don't need. I'm also going to show you how to use it for non-immigration cases like notary services, ESL classes, translations, blah, blah, blah. So like, it's not just for immigration. All right, so let's go back. In the admin, what I did, again, I clicked on case processes. And from here, what I'm going to do is, first of all, search the ones that I need. Hey, I need a process for green cards. And so I'm just going to search for it and click select, move to, and move it to a specific position by changing the number. Just click OK. That way, when I do a process for green cards, it's all the way up in my list. Okay. Now, next step after I put the ones that I need in top 10, top 20 positions is, you know what, we don't do H-1Bs. How about if we just click select, edit, and disable? See, that way I don't see this H-1B visa demo in my drop-down menu over here, this one right here. Okay, so that's how you can disable instead of deleting. Yes, you could delete a process, but maybe what if you need it in the future, so you can just enable it again. Okay, now I could use the system, like I said, for other services like translations or ESL classes, or I don't know, taxes, like whatever you guys want to use it, because technically, again, you can use it as a case management solution, not just for forms. And you could click here, insert. The reason why I recommend using this instead of adding is because when you click add case process, it adds the process all the way at the bottom of the list. So you might as well just click select, edit, select, insert, and then enter the name of the process. Let's say I want consultation, and this is for immigration. Also, you could choose a different area of practice. All right, so now that we have the type of matter or service, process, however you want to call it, you can click on these circles to customize the elements. For example, forms. What's the forms checklist for my adjustment of status one-step case? Well, what if you are not an attorney, you don't need the G28, just delete it. Or what if you want maybe the I-130 first after the G28? So you can just drag and drop and fix the checklist the way you prefer. Okay. Next, on the right hand side, I can customize the steps. Well, this is a must. I always recommend this because I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a solo practitioner, if you are a large organization, especially as a large organization, you want to be organized, trust me. And especially we've seen clients that start with a few licenses and they grow, which is great. They grow exponentially, and they don't have no idea like what's going on because the paralegal quit. This is the way you can organize yourself. First of all, it's your timeline or workflow. It tells you what needs to be done and how many days you have, and it sends you a reminder if you forget to do it. So again, as a solo practitioner, this is your assistant. Hey, you forgot to complete forms on this date. So please take advantage of these steps. You can edit them, you can insert, copy, delete, rearrange them. Again, you can also drag and drop them. The way I see it, if I had a new assistant, my assistant knows exactly the way we do things here, because it's like their cheat sheet. And also, of course, as a manager, I can oversee, what's the productivity of my staff by running a report to see what's pending, what's been completed, who did what, when, etc. So again, go to the admin, process steps, and then customize your list. Well, before I move from this section, let me know if you guys have any questions. Have you guys customized your processes? Let me go back. Quick question. I mean, you're probably new and you haven't done it, which is which is why you're here. But I highly recommend that you customize these processes because, like I said, what if you want to use it for more than just immigration? What if you don't need all of these so you can just disable? So let's see. We have a poll in progress. Please vote. Okay, I'm waiting for the rest of the participants to vote, but I'm just going to close it since it's been 30 seconds. All right, so, yep, perfect. So 27% said yes. All right, so I'm glad that you are now aware of this feature. And for those that haven't done it, which is a lot of you, now you can take advantage of that and then help your team. Because I know it doesn't seem a lot, but on a daily basis, scrolling through this list unnecessarily, it takes time. All right, so let's go back. We were talking about the steps. One thing I wanted to share with you is this feature. Now, if you're taking notes, I know we're recording this training. I know you can download my PowerPoint presentation, but one thing I wanted to show you that it's not actually in my PowerPoint presentation. Did I put it? I don't think so. Let me double check. No, but let me just mention it. I think it's super helpful. We have a feature called activities. Again, if you're taking notes, just write down activities, and that way you can search for the video later in our user's guide. Well, the way this works is I can pre-program by default an action such as send a questionnaire, excuse me, send a questionnaire, send a text message, I don't know, add an expense, add a note, send an email. So the system can save me time by automating things. So I can say, you know what, when it's time for me to send the questionnaire, I also want the system to send me an email as a reminder. Or how about when I need to complete forms, then do this. So again, you can customize the activities or actions by default in general for that process so that you don't have to do them manually. Yes, you could do them manually. If I take you to a case, of course, Ernesto doesn't have one. Okay, let me search for a case in the caseworker portal. All right, so let's say I created the case and I go to my process steps and I want to add one. For example, receipt, notice received, send copy to client. Well, I want this step to have an activity, but only for this particular case. And the action will be when we complete the task, when we check the box that says completed or done, then send me an email or send the client an email. Hey, we've got the receipt from USCIS. Okay, so anyway, so now you know the reason why you want to do it from the admin to save time. Next is your documents checklist. Your documents checklist that you send to the client can be customized. I actually like to have both English and Spanish. So when I send this to my client, they know what I'm asking for. And yeah, that's it. Just the document, the evidence, right? Next, questionnaires. Yes, the system comes with system intake forms that you guys can use, or you can create your own questionnaires. And today we're gonna talk to you about, like, briefly how to create your own intake forms. All right, let's continue. Next, well, by the way, questionnaires, you're not gonna be able to add a question until you create it. So it's not from here. I'll show you where to create, and then you have to come back here and add it to your checklist. Okay. All right, next, same thing with letters. I can't add a letter if it's not yet created. So I have to go into the admin portal, click on letter templates, and from here, then I can create or add my template. Most likely you already have these templates in Outlook or Microsoft Word, or right. So if you just copy paste them, keep in mind this is HTML, not Microsoft Word. But once you have the template, let me open a different one. That's an existing template, just to give you a better idea. I put the logo here, and you can use these tags, and these tags help you to personalize the document. If you're taking notes, write down letter template, because we have an overview video. But remember, if you download my PowerPoint presentation, it's right here, letter templates. So you can watch the video later, but I also recommend that you write down this tag helper. I'm going to give you a lot of information today, and I don't want you to try to memorize everything because it's exhausting. Plus, I don't want, it's Friday. No. So just write down tag helper whenever you have a chance. Go into the user's guide, search tag helper, and you're gonna thank me later because these tags, what they do is they auto-populate the data from the system. So to give you a better idea, I can go to my client, or technically my case profile, under the document section, and the letters that have been assigned to this case, here's the one that I was showing you. I can just preview and look at the, you know what, this is an old template. Let me add the new version. That's another thing. I created this case a long time ago, and it looks like the template is not the one that, let me delete this one. So if you create or modify afterwards, then you have to re-add it just like I did. Anyway, so notice the date of birth, I mean, the current date and the name of the client, or the date of birth right here. So anyway, so again, just use the tag helper with the letter templates to create your cover letters, I don't know, like emails, anything that you want to use from the system that can auto-populate just like the forms do. Of course, once you create your letter templates, I suggest that you go back into the processes and then click, for example, let's say I created a cover letter for the I-130. Then I click here under letters, and then I add anything that's related to the, green card. All right. Okay, let's go back. If you are subscribed to billing, then you can also customize what are the items that are linked or associated to the green card. How much do we charge? Well, we charge for translation, to prepare forms, or just a flat fee for green card. Okay. Anyway, so that's also how you can customize the billing items under processes. Let me know if you guys have any questions at this point. Let me see. Okay, all right, I'll just continue and I'm going to show you custom fields. First of all, let me explain what system fields are so you understand the difference. So these are the system fields that we have. Obviously, like, you can hide them, you can modify these if you want. Just go in, again, go into the admin portal to um, hide. For example, we don't really need fax number, that's why you don't see it, so it's hidden. Now, what if I want to capture additional information? Where do I enter it? That's why we have the ability to create custom fields, such as what's your full name in native alphabet? Is this the first time you're here? How do you hear about us? Etc. Okay, you can create as many custom fields as needed. First of all, to create them, you have to log in into the admin, click on Client Custom Fields. We do have also the ability to create case custom fields. I just don't recommend it if you plan on using these for questionnaires. Okay, only client custom fields can be included in an intake form. What do I do now? Well, I add my custom field and I'm gonna say this is for the individual client. The name of the field is going to be consultation fee, and again, consultation fee. Now you can't have spaces here, so what I'm gonna do is just copy paste, but use either underscore to because the name is more technical, right? The title is fine. The title is what you actually see over here where it says custom fields. So like this question, right? But the actual custom field name, it's more technical, and that's why you can leave spaces. And the type of field is going to be a number if I want to just enter the amount for how much am I charging for this consultation, or I suggest text if you plan on using the symbol for dollar sign, okay? But anyways, you can create Boolean type, date, text, drop-down menus. This is, I mean, if I'm asking for a name or something short, then use text. If it's an explanation or something like a paragraph, then it's text area because then it's not limited. All right, so then I'll just select text and save. What happens with that is that eventually I have a list of fields that I can utilize to ask additional questions. Like I said, you can use it for marketing purposes. How many of my leads are here because of radio spot or marketing campaign or, referrals. So you can ask your prospects those questions. I also recommend that you group your fields under categories. So all the related permanent resident card info fields are going to be grouped in this category. And then you can group your categories within views. Okay, so for example, to give you a better idea, if I go into the caseworker portal, I'm in the contact profile and I clicked on custom fields. This is the category, permanent resident card info. This is a custom field. This is another custom field. So again, I can group custom fields by categories, and I can group different categories by views. For example, my marketing view has anything related to either customer service, like best way to contact you, are you tech savvy? Okay. So again, I highly recommend that you not only organize them, but also decide out of those fields that I created, what are the most important ones that I need available on the first page, the general info page, along with the system custom fields. I want to scroll down and see my custom fields, right? Well, the way you do that is right here in the admin. You go to system client custom fields on the right hand side, and you're going to choose general info. And that's how you can choose or add which custom fields do I want to show under the general info. Please let me know if you guys have any questions at this point, okay? I know that I'm going probably faster than what you would want me to, I mean, yeah, if you want me to go slow, it's really hard for me to cover all the material in 1 hour. That's why we record the session. But I also want to mention that we do offer private trainings that might be helpful if you want us to go at your own pace. Okay, but again, I want to know if you have any questions so I can stop and answer them. All right, so let's continue. And before I go there, this is what I've covered so far. Just as a quickly recap, we talked about how to customize the main elements as well as letter templates, custom fields, and I'm going to now take you to these items. Okay, let's continue. Billing items, well, remember, you must be subscribed to this optional module. If you want to contact our sales rep team, our sales team, so that they can give you a quote, how much would it be if I get billing in my current subscription? Okay. Now, if you're new and you do have billing and you haven't customized this, you won't be able to create an invoice. So this is very, very important. You have to create a billing item. And the way you do that is by clicking here, add billing item. The code, you can make it up. It could be just a number. It could be more specific, like N400 5K. So I know that that's how much we charge. Although now that I think about it, I don't recommend it just because filing fees can change, or so I don't know, just keep it generic. If this is the first time that you again are this you're new and you haven't done it before, my recommendation also is that you create a billing item like a generic one, more something like edit this description and $1 and the type will be other. My code is going to be just the law firm name. Just because that way, when I use this billing item, I can change the description and the amount without having to create multiple billing items. Okay, so just FYI, like I said, because if you're getting started and you want to create an invoice, if you don't have at least one billing item, you can't create the invoice. Okay, let's go back. I forgot to mention this, but these type of fees, like professional fees or consultation, translation, so these type of fees can be modified right here, where it says types of billing items. So again, if you want to be more specific, you can add your own type of billing items. Okay, let's continue. Okay, great. So this, I'm going to see if you guys have any questions at this point, because I'm going to move into a more difficult part of the training. So let's see, how many of you have questions at this point? Okay, I'm going to give you a couple more seconds to vote. So far, the majority says no thanks, so we can continue. But the few of you who say yes, please send the question so I can assist you, okay? All right, so I've got 82% said no thanks. All right, so let's continue. Thank you so much for voting. And for those that have questions, just send me the question and I'll answer that when I can. Okay. All right, so now creating custom intake forms. This is fun, and I always recommend that um, you take advantage of the fact that you can create any type of intake form, especially now that you can add the signature. So technically, you can use this for your contracts and send the client a question. I mean, it's an intake form, right? But it could be more like a contract. Let me see. Someone asked a question. Did you go over mapping? Not yet. Not yet, but I can, and I will. I think I have that in my PowerPoint. Yes, but not yet. Okay, so I'm barely talking about how to create the questionnaire. So when you guys go, let me take you from the home screen. When you go to the admin and click on custom form templates and then click on intake forms, you'll see that we have custom versus system. My suggestion is that you use the ones we have instead of starting from scratch. For example, I'm going to use a general info for individual client questionnaire. I'm going to make a copy. And I'm going to change the name and call it, I don't know, just like initial intake form. Okay. I want to keep these questions, but I don't want to ask for fax number, so I'll just delete it. I can just delete the questions that I don't need to ask, okay? Because if this is an initial intake form, I don't need to know their major field of study or degree or, right? So you can make it your own by also adding questions on the left. Am I asking for a text question? Maybe yes. So my question will be, I don't know, any discount, any promotional code, or like, I don't know, you can ask any questions. And what I did, I changed the number here so that it can go all the way up. It could be a different type of field. Am I asking for a larger text area for like an explanation? For example, what's the reason you, oops, need a lawyer? And they can just enter a paragraph of what they're here. Anyway, so date, phone numbers, email. So pick the correct value because that's very important. If I want to ask for income, then it will populate obviously the income field or the email address field. Okay. So let me just save this because I put 1, it's going to move it all the way up. If I click on the pencil, then I can change this and say initial intake form. Although maybe I want to just call it welcome. Uh, it could be a small header, large, medium. So again, you can customize it. If you notice on the left, we have different sections such as templates, repeated sections, which I'll explain in a moment. Under the options, we have the add logo or add numbers to questions option. So I can preview now and it has my logo. Here's question number 1. So again, I can just for example, here I'm going to fix this. I didn't like the fact that initial intake form was number 2, so I just dragged and drop it. I can drag and drop, okay? Or in my opinion, sometimes it's easier to just click here and select a different number. Let me know if you guys have any questions, please. Now, if you plan on adding the signature, don't do it until the very end. That should be the last thing you add, the signature. Otherwise, you're going to get errors and it's not going to work. So make sure that you remember that. Signature is the last thing that you want to add to your intake form. Now, under the templates, maybe I want to ask my client or prospect to provide his parents' information and spouse's information. But I don't want to ask for every single thing for his parents. I just want to know what the dad's first, middle, last name is, and maybe the gender, date of birth, and where they were born, city, state, and country of birth. That's it. I don't care for anything else. That's it. So again, this helps you to keep it very simple for them to give you just what you need. Again, all you need to do is uncheck and choose what you need. I'm going to do it the same thing for the mother, and that's it. Same thing for the spouse, etc. Now, what are repeated sections? Well, repeated sections is, of course, I don't know how many addresses they have for the, how many previous addresses they have lived in. So, or like how many times they have been married. So it's a repeated section because they can click add more, right? So maybe I want to ask them for their previous addresses, but we just need the last 5 years. And exclamation marks. Just kidding. So that the clients don't send us all the addresses. Anyway, so again, like I said, you can make your own. You just click and add, as you can see. For example, what's a good one? I think children. All right, so children information. Well, yes, I need to know how many children are you planning on migrating them to, what's the relationship, but I don't care for like maiden name, title, preferred name, status. Just give me the basics. Cell phone, no, I don't care for their cell phone or fax number. So again, as you can see, I can just keep it as very simple as needed, right? or preferred language. I don't need their children's household size or income, degree. You get the idea. All right, so now that we have everything we need, the next step is make it pretty. Layout. Do I want a header? Do I want a description? Include a line to separate. So just the way that it works, for example, I want a line between this and this section. So it says 123. What I'm going to do is click horizontal line, put 123, save it. And now if I preview, I'm going to scroll down to section. See how simple it is? Just father's info. That's it. Mother's info. Previous addresses. Boom. Here's what I need. And then here's where I was saying, like, add another, add another. So that's why it's called repeated section. Keep going, keep going. Client abroad, children. Wait, didn't I add the line? Oh, it's very subtle, but it's right there. Maybe I should have added. Okay, I'm going to change it. I don't need a line because it's really not as obvious. Let's add a vertical space. So again, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's preview. Uh, Employment, education, abroad. Okay, here we go. So that's the space. So anyways, you can make this with a header, descriptions. I can even add like a submit button, but I'm not gonna, well, that's the thing. The submit button, I'm gonna add, save it, and then I'm going to go under the question section. Maybe I want to add like a document upload button so they can upload the evidence. And if you do that, let's say that you want this here, and refer to the email for documents needed. PDF only. Make sure you take good pictures, good lighting, and I want multiple documents. Unless you want to specify, I need your passport, and it's going to be one by one, single document. Next, again, at the end, I'll just add the signature. That's it. Sign here and save it. Next, now I'm going to talk about mapping. So what is mapping? Mapping means I'm going to connect my question to the system, meaning once I send this questionnaire and the client enters data, where does the data go? If I don't have a space or I always think of it like a container. I don't have a bucket where I dump all this information. That's why you need to create a custom field, unless you want to link it or map it to a system field, okay, which we do have. For example, what's the reason you need a lawyer? We don't have that question in eImmigration. That's a custom field. So you would create a custom field, go here, client, custom field, and then link it. I guess we have one called reason for contacting us. Yeah, what's the reason for contacting us? I want to make this required. So they can't submit their questionnaire without that question, without their name, without their email address, or okay, or who referred you, or how did you hear about us? All right, so next, translations. Well, I don't want to translate for all those languages. I'm just going to enable and pick the languages that I need. Let's say Spanish, okay, and or Russian, or so I'm going to review and make sure. And of course, there's a bug. How fun. I'm going to report this to our team. Sorry about that, but let's just um, here we go. So if that happens to you, please report to our team so they can fix it right away. Anyway, so it translates the questions, even the one that I created. ¿Cuál es la razón por la que necesito un abogado? Boom, it's there. And firme aquí, like the signature. Perfect. So now I have a complete initial intake form with pretty much everything. I didn't really choose all of the fields, but this is just for training purposes. And then just save it. In fact, I'm going to use today's date so I can use this one. That's not today's date. Okay, and save it. Don't add a description that you don't want your clients to see, okay? That they will see the description. So save and close. All right, now we have a questionnaire that we customize. Any questions about what I just did? I have a question for you. Before you got eImmigration, or maybe during, like, do you have questionnaires that you created in a Word or PDF that you still send to your clients via email? Let's see how many of you speak the truth. Well, if you do, in my opinion, it will take you what? Less than 10 minutes? 15 minutes? How long I took to create a questionnaire right now? And the benefit of using our technology is that your prospects or clients will type the answers. They still have to type anyways if you send them a PowerPoint, I mean a Word document, right? Or PDF. So you might as well just send them the link, have them type the info, and the information will auto-populate the forms. And you'll be surprised, like 60% of you say yes. So now you have homework to do during the weekend, maybe. You know, it's really, really worth it. Long-term benefit is going to be a lot easier for you to just send them the link, have them enter the data, and the data populates the forms and run reports and use it for the, cover letters. And all right, so let's continue. Next item in my list is form defaults or defaults. Can someone correct me? So what is this for? Well, how about if I just customize a form so that it has form default values, and every time that I do, let's say the N for 100, that I don't have to check those boxes for every single client. I want the form to be automatically and by default completed with no, 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 because it's a lot easier for me to switch the answers to a couple of yeses if applicable. Okay, now you know. Keep in mind, as you saw on April 1st, when there's a new version of the forms, you need to go back and change your defaults. Same thing with your custom field, your custom form, or your form custom data population. All right. Okay. Document repository. This is also very helpful, your document repository, so that you can add documents that you want to share with your team or just keep it handy. Even if you're not in the office, you can't access your network, you have these documents stored in eImmigration. Think of it like the cloud of the cloud. So I have kind of like a Google Drive pretty much inside of eImmigration. When I go into a profile and say, you know what, I need Rosa Maria to sign the contract. Well, where's the template? Let me just import from my document repository, and I can just pick it from here. Okay, that way you ensure, or you make sure that your staff is using the same format, the same file. Types. These types are the drop-down menus that you see, not all of them, but just to give you a better idea, when you create a reminder or when you create a note, there's going to be a drop-down menu that says type. That's what I'm talking about. Like, change these so that it's not just, oh, I have a note that's general. No, be more specific. I have a note related to my removable defense court, uh, right? Or I have a note because we're missing information. And the reason why I recommend that you customize these is so that you're better organized. In the future, if you say, give me a report for all the clients that are missing info, that's a lot easier to find. Okay. All right. So let's take you back. Just create your or add your type of reminders, type of notes, type of calendar appointments, also type of programs. For example, hey, how many cases do we have in process versus pending with the NVC? How many cases are interrupted or completed? So you can use this drop-down menu for the type of program if you're not a nonprofit. If you are a nonprofit, by all means, use it to specify the program. They qualify for a grant or a program so that you can run reports. Hey, how many of my clients for an N400 qualify for this citizenship and assimilation grant program? It's a lot easier to, again, find the things if you are organized. And so the way you do it, again, from the admin, after you customize them, just refresh your screen and you're going to be able to pick the category or the type of program right here. And then you can run the reports based on the type of program. Even this, like, where's the actual document? So room 3, cabinet A. So again, just to make your life easier. I know that at the beginning it might be tedious and just annoying, but long-term benefit is going to be worth it. Okay. Same thing with this, like custom document types. Well, we want to track expiration dates for RFEs or 797s or, EADs. So you can create like a list of documents and you can track, well, when's this work permit expire, or so again, just add the type of document that you want to customize. Here's the physical document location I was talking about. Next, we actually developed this. Well, I say we, but our amazing developers created this because a client recommended and asked for, hey, my paralegals are closing cases with no reason. How do I know, and how do I prevent them from like closing a case without giving me an explanation or a reason? Why did you close a case? Was it because the case was denied, approved, lack of payment, etc.? So you can add your reasons and then again run reports to know, okay, if we close the case, is it because the case was denied? Okay, great. Then you run a report. How many of the cases that we closed this year were because the cases were denied or approved? So again, it's just about statistics, running accurate reports, finding things a lot easier, etc. Global alerts. You can add like a pop-up window. For example, if you have billing, you can create an alert that's advanced for, let's say, warning if this person has invoices that are overdue. What happens when you add a global alert is that if I go to this profile and she has overdue invoices, I'll see them. I mean, otherwise, I wouldn't know until I go into the billing section. Or if you want to add an alert, again, advanced for warning if this person has an adverse party and there's a conflict of interest, right? So that could be another warning or pop-up. You can add as many alerts as needed, and your staff can see them when they open the client or case profiles. Referrals, if you want to refer someone, you can also customize these: why, where, what's the status. All right, any questions so far? Please let me know. I want to show you what the case wizard mandatory fields are. Those, you can find them here under application settings and scroll down. I get lost, imagine. I mean, there's a lot going on, but again, I know that it could be overwhelming. That's why I say we're recording the session. You can watch the video. You can contact us for support. Here's the case wizard required fields. I can say, you know what? When we create a case, I want my team to always select the type of matter. That's a mandatory or required field. But I also want them to add the application date or add the type of program or the department. So I can make these required fields. Okay. And when I say wizard, I'm referring to this window, case wizard. Okay. Alrighty, let's continue. Just to show you, I finished those and I'm about to finish our training. We're almost done. Almost done. Okay, custom reports. Custom reports, you have to be subscribed to. It's another optional module. I used to say it's my favorite. I don't know if we have so many cool features, like e-filing is probably becoming my favorite. But you can create reports and schedule them. So the reason why I say it's my favorite is because if I was a solo practitioner, this would be my assistant. Why? Because I can create my reports and schedule them and say, hey, you know what, on a daily basis, give me an Excel or a PDF and show me what are my priorities, or show me if I have any appointments, or give me on a weekly basis an Excel spreadsheet of how many invoices have a pending balance, and send this report to my accounting department because they don't have access to the system. But again, they can still get an Excel spreadsheet on a weekly basis automatically. Voila. So I think this is a must. And if you want to create a report, you just go to report templates And my suggestion is that you use what we have. Don't start from scratch. Why waste your time? So for example, cases by attorney. We already have a standard report. What I did, I just made a copy and changed that to a custom report, and I made this just cases by Vanessa. So I can run the report and show just the cases that I want specifically to any matters that I need, because you can customize the criteria. For example, I am looking for cases that the caseworker is me and the status of the case is just active cases created this month. If I say last year and test, it looks like last year I created almost like I think like 100 less than one per day, right? So so I have the name of the process, the case. I always recommend that if you create a report that you add this case number or client name, just so that you can click on the link and it will take you to the profile or to the case window to review anything, clarify anything. But yeah, your reports can be downloaded as PDFs, Excel, HTML. All right, so application settings. Here it is. In the admin all the way at the bottom under tools, these application settings, um, it really, I mean, I can't tell you click here or don't click here. For example, I love this feature, change all my files that we upload into PDF, convert them automatically. I love that feature. Or if I want to use e-signature, I mean, e-signing, sorry. Yeah, the e-signature feature, I can't use it until I enable it. Or I want the system to auto-generate the case number. Here it is. So again, you can't really use the features until you enable them and customize them. So my recommendation for today is explore these general settings. For example, under branding, I can upload my logo. I have a question. I'll read it out loud. Give me 1 second. I can upload my logo and it's more professional. The logo should be 300 by 70 pixels and GIF format only. Or how about if I want to use the credit card processing with my PayPal account? I need to connect my PayPal account. Things like that, right? So please make sure that you explore these application settings. I'm going to read a question. We're almost done. It says, before finish, I'm new to using the system. What would you suggest is the most correct order to take these trainings to achieve improvements to my organization? I love the question. Um, there's no correct order. The thing is, as long as you're dedicated and really want to do the work. I mean, I've seen clients that, well, technically the recommendation is that you do the admin first, but the way I see it is like sometimes clients take the training for the caseworker first and they know how to create a case, how to use forms, how to, the the caseworker portal. And then they do the admin because now they know what they need to change. So it's really up to you. My suggestion is that you do them, that you take advantage of the trainings, and I'm so glad that you're here so that you can take advantage of these webinars. We are doing one next Friday for basic training for new users. So we did the admin first, and then next Friday we're going to do the training for the caseworker. So I invite you to join that one too. But thank you for the question. I really hope that the system can help your organization. We have clients, so just to give you an idea, we have a client with more than 100 users. They're not using the system fully. We're going to be doing trainings for them on a more constant basis because I think there's a lot that they haven't really explored, they're not taking advantage of. So they're going to be scheduling private sessions so that they can start using the system fully. So again, don't feel bad. Like I said, it's never too late. Alrighty, I think I'm done. Let me show you my PowerPoint presentation. I can't believe it. It's 11, so let's go over the resources and support. Please call us. We can't read your mind. Contact us. Send us an email. Like smoke stick, like whatever you need to do, but ask for help. We want to help. You can also send your feedback to developers. We have a complete user's guide, which is amazing because you can just search by the keyword, like I said, tag helper or letter template. And the user's guide, again, I put the link right here, has videos or like step-by-step instructions. Again, we do these trainings for free on Fridays. We have a podcast. If you haven't joined the Facebook forum page, please do so you can interact with other users. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Now, these are the questions. Sorry, there's a question. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. These are the sections that you're probably not aware. That's why it's called Did You Know? Um, and if you are new, I also suggest that you click and learn. For example, we talked about translations today for your questionnaires. I briefly mentioned e-filing, but here's more info. Like if you are subscribed to e-filing, you can also import data from the CBP website, like the I-94 and the, you know, travel history or questions and answers. Is there a way to send questionnaires again to the same client for when we have follow-up matters to handle a file for them? Yes, you can resend questionnaires to the same client again. Now, if you sent a questionnaire yesterday or last week, for example, and actually, let me show you a better example. Rosa Maria. If I go to her document section and click on questionnaires and forms, I sent her these questionnaires last year, actually. I don't need to resend it. She has access since November. All I need to do is, hey, you know what? Remind her. Share a passwordless link. But let's say that this history of marriage was back in, what is this, August of last year. Well, she sent it in August. We approved on September. But let's say that we now need an updated history of marriage from her. Well, yes, even though I accepted a questionnaire from her a long time ago, I can resend the same questionnaire so she can see what I have in the system. She doesn't have to start from scratch and she can add or update the information. Thank you for that question. Why does the system sometimes create duplicates of the same client contact upon submission of questionnaires by client? I think the reason why this happened is because, and I put here most likely is because you send the relatives questionnaire to both the petitioner and the beneficiary. If you think about it, I sent it to the petitioner, so she went ahead and created the profiles for the sister, the spouse, and the mother. But if I send the same questionnaire to Jose and he enter information for the sister-in-law and his mother-in-law and his spouse, then I'm going to end up with duplicates. My suggestion is that you send the relatives questionnaire only to one party first, and then when you send it to the other party, let's say Jose, when he clicks on members or relatives, he's going to see that we have linked them already. Okay. The other thing is, if you guys are using alternate view and you choose this relatives questionnaire, or this one, keep in mind that if you add, for example, if I add another relative, let's say the father, and I enter the information, I'm going to delete, of course. Once I click save, this is what happens. The system creates an account. So imagine if you send the questionnaire to Rosa, she entered the father's info, but then you were not patient enough. You created the member yourself. Now you have two profiles. All right. So let me just unlink and then delete later. Let me see. Can you send just the unanswered questions to the client? Sometimes they don't completely fill it out. No, but remember now you can make some of these questions required or mandatory. That way they can't submit if they don't completely fill out all the questions. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. Okay, let me continue. Next question was how to run reports based on case, date, case handler, etc. We offer standard reports, but we also recommend our custom reports module so you can create any report and be able to schedule them too. I didn't put the links as I usually do here in the answers because I already have these in where right here, reports, schedule. So please make sure you download my PowerPoint presentation so that um, you can click on the links. Alrighty, well, next training, like I said, next Friday is a basic training for new users. Invite your team, let them know this is free. And the last one is going to be a more specific, detailed training on how to easily create your own intake forms. All right, I hope that you guys learned something new. Thank you so much for attending today's webinar and have a great weekend, everyone. If you have questions, I'm going to stick around. Oh, you're welcome. Have a great weekend too. Thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful. Alrighty, well, if you have questions, message me. Now, before you disconnect, were your questions addressed during the week the weekend? I'm ready for the weekend. Were your questions addressed during the webinar? I am so sorry. I think I need another coffee. Yes, thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube called Cerenade Academy. All right, for those that said no, really, please contact our team. We want to help you. Or stick around. I'll just send me your questions and I'll just answer them before you leave. For those who have to disconnect, thank you again and take care. So we have a question. It says, can you send just the unanswered? I think I already answered that question. Um, yeah, so the answer was no. You have to resend the questionnaire. They'll see the data you have. The thing is, when you receive a questionnaire that's incomplete, just to give you a better idea, let me quickly access the client portal. So let's say that, let me make sure that my screen is still showing. Yes, it is. So let's say that my client opened, what's a good one? I'll use this one, intake form, and she didn't answer some of these questions. Okay, I'm just going to, well, some of them, well, let's say that she didn't answer some of these. She just changed the date of birth. And I asked her to complete or answer all these. If she submits, okay, when you get the notification from us, I'm gonna show you. If you click on this icon on the top right to review the questionnaire, my suggestion is when you open it, if you review the questionnaire and find out it's incomplete, right? What you can do instead of accepting, click send back and send it back, but explain why. Maybe I suggest sending an email saying it looks like you forgot to respond to these questions or some, that's my suggestion. Okay. But again, my other suggestion is if you go into the admin for that questionnaire, if you find that your clients are not submitting all these questions, remember that questionnaire that I created earlier. Let me find it right here. My suggestion is also under the mapping section, there's a column for required. If you want to avoid that, make sure that you make these required fields. But keep in mind, for example, if you make them required, what if they don't have a cell phone or a day phone? They can't proceed until they enter a number. So be careful just with that, but that's my suggestion. Let me know if I answer your question, if you have any other questions. Oh, no problem. I get that a lot too. We multitask. Yeah, no worries. And you can always watch the video because I know we were going too fast, but you can watch the video later when it's ready in our YouTube channel. For those that are not familiar with the channel, just go to youtube.com, search Serenade Academy, and do me a favor and click subscribe. And this is where you can learn about, for example, 2 days ago, we uploaded this one. Um, this is a new feature for adding a signature box on the custom intake form. So that's why we recommend that you subscribe so that you are aware of these new videos. All right. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I think someone's raising a hand. All right. Go ahead and submit your question before I disconnect, please. I can't unmute you. If you have a question and you need help, just message me. All right. So I don't see the question coming through. I'm going to end the webinar, but you can always contact our support team. Again, if you haven't downloaded the PowerPoint, you can download. And these are the, where's it? Here. These are the resources and support. Just contact us by phone or email, or you're on your home screen, click on technical support. All right. Thank you so much and have a good weekend.